So I think we did a lot of good things in the last game. I think one of the things that probably we need to get corrected is, we did get 3 turnovers defensively, but we also had 3 turnovers. So, ball security is, a very important part of being successful. Gives the other team 3 extra possessions where you could have scored. So, and I think the emphasis has to continue to be on, whenever you're less than perfect in terms of your execution, whether it's fundamental execution or whatever it is, that's when you get exposed. So that's why we got to keep coaching our team to get it right on a consistent basis. This is one of the greatest, rivalry games in college football. And, most every team in rivalry games, sort of it's a part of their legacy in terms of how did they do in the rivalry game. And this is one of the biggest ones. And it means a lot to a lot of people in our state. It means a lot to, us, our players and our fans. And we're going to do the best job we can to, get ready for, this game. I think Cadillac Williams has done a really, really good job. They've played really well these last 3 games. They run the ball effectively. They got a lot of diversity on offense. The quarterback's a very athletic player who can run and throw. Tank is one of the better backs in the SEC. Their defense is very, very aggressive. Papone is a really good inside backer. Hall's a really good rusher. Creates a lot of negative plays. They're very good on special teams. So this is a very challenging, game for us, and our players are going to have to do a great job of getting prepared to play as well as we played all season.
You mentioned how well they've played these last 3 games. When you're watching film, is there maybe a noticeable difference between now and maybe the start of the season?
No, I just think they're playing really well now. I'm not making an evaluation. I thought they played hard all year long. I think they're, players really compete well, and they've done that all year long. And they just played really well in the last 3 games.
The middle, Michael.
Yeah, how has the challenge evolved for Will Anderson this season as teams make adjustments to his skill set?
Will's done great for us. Will helps other players play better. It's not just all about what you do. He does his job extremely well. If they're focusing on him a little bit more, I think it gives other players opportunities to make plays. And but I think he competes, he plays hard, he gives great effort, he sets a good example, he prepares well. We can't ask any more of Will Anderson than what he does, and I think he helps our team as much as any player on our team.
This side with Chase.
We got to see Elijah Pritchett play a little bit against Austin Peay. How long did it take him to get back to practice from his injury, and how's he looked in practice since he did?
I think he started back like the bye week, right around LSU time. So he's been out there practicing for several weeks now, and mostly on the scout team. But as he's kind of gotten back in shape and gotten back in football form, he's a guy that certainly has done extremely well, and we think can be a really, really good player. He's got power, he can bend, he's got good bouncing body control. So, somebody that we want to continue to work and develop.
Opportunity to recognize what some of not just the star players, but maybe the walk-ons have done for this program over the last 4 or 5 years?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for us, myself, all the coaches, people at the university, our fans, to actually show the appreciation that we all have for the sacrifices and the investment that these guys have made, in the program for the last 4 years, sometimes 5. And, some of them get a lot of positive accolades because they play, and they get a lot of positive self-gratification for the positive kind of unsung heroes in terms of, they work hard every week and they play their games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to help the other guys get prepared for the game and don't get a whole lot of recognition. So it is a great opportunity for those guys to get some positive self-gratification for all their efforts.
Middle here, Dick Kelly.
Last year in this game, Ja'Cory Brooks made some huge plays. What can young guys learn from what he did to step up in that kind of those big moments as far as this year's game goes?
Well, I think that, we need to get all of our players to play to the best of their ability and understand when they have opportunities to make plays. That's what competition is all about. That's what competing in games like this is all about. And that should be their mindset. And I don't think anytime you got a young player who makes outstanding plays, I think that sets a good example for everybody else on the team that they have the opportunity, capability and possibilities to do the same thing, but they got to do things right to be able to have that happen. And so, hopefully, we got some young receivers. Hopefully they'll step up.
Go to right eye, back left.
You had challenged the offensive line early in the season to play more physically. Just how did you see them respond to that, and what sort of growth have you seen from them throughout the year?
Yeah, well, I thought this last week was one of the better games we played up front. We sort of dominated the line of scrimmage, fairly well, finished a lot of blocks. I think we blocked on the perimeter better than we have all year, talking about the receivers and so forth. So, I saw a step in the right direction, and hopefully we can. And I saw it in the Ole Miss game as well, especially in the second half. We started, dominating the line of scrimmage a little bit, which I think is a really important thing, and it'll be a great challenge for us this week.
Go to Tony.
When you're having success running the ball in a specific direction in one game, does that influence your play calling? Do you kind of ride the hot side or hot hand in that regard?
I think, sometimes you do things based on what the other team's doing, and some of the runs get sort of packaged relative to where's the strength of their defense or what are they doing. So, in certain situations, if you think you have significant good matchups on one side of the line versus the other, they may change from week to week, but that's where you would probably choose to run the ball.
Back to Khyree.
Hey, coach, in a game like this, as you said, that means so much to so many. This week, do you allow your players to lean into that? Or if not, how do you get your players to focus on this and treating it like it's any other game?
I don't understand the question totally. And
Just in a big game like this, is this a week that you're going to allow your players to lean into all that noise and all that extra juice outside of the game? Or do you still try to keep it like it's just any other game?
well, they're all big games. And this is obviously a rivalry game, which makes it a special game and a special challenge. So, we've tried all year long to get our players to focus on being motivated internally in terms of what they want to accomplish and what they want to do, how good they want to be, rather than counting on external factors to sort of create that motivation for them. But I think in games like this, there's going to be some external factors that, may be a positive for some of the guys. I can't discount that.
Couple more. We'll go to Steve in the back left.
Coach, he was a great running back at Auburn, but how have you seen Cadillac Williams kind of infuse juice to the program right now as the interim coach?
No, he's done a great job. The energy, the enthusiasm, the way the guys are competing and playing, the way they played to win, and that was his personality as a player. I remember when I was a coach at the Miami Dolphins, Ronnie Brown and Cadillac were both coming out the same time in the same draft. And we thought they were both great competitors, and he certainly was a great competitor. And I think his personality shows in the way his team competes.
Finish up with Charlie.
We haven't seen Khyree Jackson the last two games. Do you have an update on his status?
He's suspended right now. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.